Welcome to Seekers of the Malediction, your source for tips, tricks, and strategies in our favorite miniatures card game. We are back again for part 2 review of the new expansion. I'm Zach. This is Pat. Take it away.
Yeah, thanks. So just want to hit on a couple of new things that are newsworthy related things that we missed last week. So the big one is that we kind of glanced over, and I know neither of us, I think, had a chance to sink our teeth into it, but there is a lore primer out. So the Loot Studios, Malediction, they just dumped a huge lore book, essentially, really fleshing out the world and everything. I haven't had time, frankly, to dig into it yet, but I know that there's a whole separate channel on it. Of people sinking their teeth into it, questioning things, and just really drumming up hype, which I think is something that was really lacking in the game. So I'm
Channel
excited.
on the Discord.
Yeah, channel
Cool.
on the Discord. And I think that they put out like a little teaser video and stuff like that as well. I don't know if they're going to do more animation type stuff to go and like pair alongside it. But I am happy that they put some effort into doing that because I think that lore really sucks a lot of people into the game and helps the game
Yeah.
struggle through, especially from like a context perspective of like bridging gaps from one expansion to another. So yeah, that was the main thing I wanted to call out. Adepticon coming out. You have a busy week. You're going to GaryCon first this week, and then Adepticon the following week.
Yep.
But
Yep. Yeah, we'll be playing some D&D and then playing some minis. Well, you and I are doing the Malediction 2's event.
yep,
Likely playing, for me anyway, you for sure, playing in the 1v1 event.
yes,
And that's Friday, Saturday, back to back. And then, yeah, it should be a good Adepticon time. I'm excited to see the expansion on sale for people. Hopefully it is. I think it's going to be right.
yep.
At Adepticon, that's pretty awesome.
I'll be
Last year
interested to
there were
see their. I'm hoping they have a display of like all their minis that you can buy like off the shelf because they're doing that service now.
Yeah, that would
So
be really cool. I would be pretty tempted, I think, by just being able to grab minis. I don't have a printer. You don't have a printer.
yeah,
Obviously, I have a ton of the models printed from, the core sets. But it would be nice to just kind of grab pre-printed stuff from the expansion and just have models.
yeah, definitely.
But I guess we'll see.
Yep. And if you're at Adepticon, please, it is cool because all the Malediction events are in one room at Adepticon, and I think that's even like the open play and even probably like the games with like Nikki, the designer, and stuff like that. So like everyone's going to be in the same room. I'm pretty sure. It'll just be cool that we'll all be kind of like gelling together and kind of looking around and hanging out with everyone for the 2 days. Yeah, hopefully because I'm only going Friday, Saturday. Hopefully I find time to walk the vendor hall and maybe we can. I don't know, in our twos, we can sneak out an early round or something like that, or maybe we get a buy and we can absorb that in. But yeah, it should be
Yeah,
a fun
yeah.
time. Um, yeah, and then so we'll hop into our main. I think that's all really I have for news going on now. But before we hop into where we left off with Blue, I did want to go back. I was so high on that Deadly Bargain card, right? Where I think I gave it like a B. It banish an ally unit, and then you're denying mastery and all this stuff. After having played with Grizza like a couple of games and just retweaking the deck, there's just no home for it, and I just feel like it is too much value. So I do want to call that out. But like I love the card design. I think that Malediction really needs to bring in tertiary ways to play, like other than defeating units and relics and like Huss, like mess with mastery, right? I think like denial of mastery.
Yeah.
I think effects that could say like, hey, -5 mastery, get this cool. You know what I mean? Like kind of like almost like how Magic uses your life force as like a resource and stuff. I think Malediction
Yeah.
should maybe and Deadly Bargain's the first foray into that of trying it out. So I think that's why I'm so high
I
on it. But it after trying to
I
put it in a
agree.
deck, it's not that great.
Yeah, yeah. I agree, and I think, along those same lines, I'd love to see more or maybe just better, echo denial type strategies strategies too. I think that would be cool. I know, this sort of prison strategies where, you lock people down aren't always the most fun for those playing into them, but I think
Yeah.
they're a lot of fun to play and tend to be a pretty core archetype.
Yeah.
Whether, and you think of TCGs, Magic's a perfect example where you've got resource denial, land destruction, you name it. I think that would be cool to expand in future expansions too.
Yeah, I do. We'll keep it brief when we hop into the main topic, but I think the problem with that, and we've kind of seen this with Auric specifically, with like the extra echo, you know what I mean? But like, or like denial, curse, like all those kind of things, is like when you're hitting the abilities that hit echo right now, it's during the activation phase, which means that
Yeah.
you're only really denying spells because they're gonna get the echo generated from the new round, which is really what they're using to play units, right? Like very very rarely are you conserving echo to play a bigger unit, except for like the first like round or two, right? In later rounds,
Yeah,
you get 10 echo, you're gonna play, so you can play any unit, right?
I agree.
So that's the
I
problem.
think
So
the way that the
go ahead.
abilities are formulated right now, curse as an example, yeah, they just don't do it.
Yeah,
You know,
they
the
need to hit
timing of the
the,
mechanics of the
yeah,
round of the phases of the game don't play into that sort of a strategy. It'd need to be something like, you know, if at the beginning of the turn this character is in, your opponent generates -2 echo for
yep,
each character engaging this unit or something
yep.
like that.
That's exactly what I was going to say. They need to hit that guaranteed echo that you're getting at the beginning of the round. And like there needs to
Yeah.
be some kind of, not like a steep condition, right? Maybe it's like a super fragile unit. Hey, there's a unit in this game that maybe could have done that, but instead they just put other worthless abilities on it. That maybe we'll talk about it. But yeah, something like that. We'll see. All right, so we'll hop into the card review now. And we left off with oh, my camera is just like showing my forehead. With Conclave. So yeah, we're on Arcane Sentinel. It is a 4-cost basic unit, 3 attack, 4/2 damage, 10 range, no movement. So it's like a totem esque kind of thing. 12
Mhm.
defense, 10 HP, and then a new ability, Overwatch 2. Whenever an enemy resolves a move nearby or within shooting range of you, you may exhaust this unit. If you do, it performs an attack with +2 against that enemy. It has pinpoint, so it can trace line of sight through other units, and clumsy, it cannot equip or cannot grab attachments. So no relic claiming or anything like that. It is spellbound, which is relevant for like the theme kind of tribal stuff that other cards later in this game in this expansion. So why don't you kick us off with this card?
Yeah. I think the idea of this card is really neat. I love that it has the spellbound typing. I like that Malediction seems to be going in a direction where we're going to start seeing more, tribal typing interactions. I think that's super cool. And obviously, we'll get to, a later unique that kind of starts leaning into that even harder. Um, I think this is a card that once in a blue moon, you're going to get like 2 of these out, and they're just going to freaking devastate the game.
Yeah.
And it's going to be awesome. Um, Outside of that, I feel kind of meh about them for 4. 4 is a lot of echo. This is, it can't move, it can't pick up anything. It has a very I don't know, obvious ability, right? You see it from a mile away what it's trying to do, and so you can avoid it. Obviously, there's going to be those situations where your opponent can avoid it, and then yeah, it's going to be devastating. It's going to be
Yeah.
great. And so I think it's neat. I like it. I actually will probably play it a decent amount. But I am a little meh on it for 4 echo.
Yeah.
If it would have been like 3 echo, I think I would have really liked it. I think you could have even taken off like pinpoint or something, made it even more avoidable, made it 2 echo,
I think
and I
it
probably
needs
would have been pretty.
pinpoint because it can't move. Like I don't know. Like I
Yeah,
think it's
it's
super easy to deny if you don't have pinpoint. But
I
that's
think it already is to an extent. I
yeah.
mean,
I mean that's
pinpoint's
true.
great, but pinpoint's great, but I don't know. It's hard to justify a clumsy stationary unit for 4
Yeah.
echo, and even at 3, it's a little tough.
Yeah. It's just the stationary thing. Though you got to be damn sure that you have deployed this thing where the action is going to happen. Otherwise, I mean, if this thing comes down even like turn 2, you've like I'm just running away from it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, hey, you come to me then. We'll have the fight over here. Like, and I made you burn a
Yeah.
card. And so like the only real situation is you are fighting, contesting a husk that is gonna, if they pick it up, they are gonna win them the game. That's where you play this thing, right? Like, hey, like if I pick this husk up, I win the game. So like you have to like fight on top of it. That's where you deploy this thing. Any other situation, like they do have the option to just run away, and not fight it by it, which is gonna
Yeah.
suck. I do think it's a little steep, to be honest with you. Like it's a huge tempo play for 1.5 attacks, right? So +2 damage is like a kind of a graze on it. So you're hoping that like I don't know, like that's kind of how I view it. Is like you're giving up an activation, which means so much in this game for other reasons, right? Like just going with something else. Like the activations are like probably the most important tactic, like while like doing the fight, I guess. Um, that I do feel like it is a steep cost, but it can give up like a tempo
Hmm.
thing. Like, like if if Thunderceps comes in and is going to charge and cleave and do a bunch of stuff, obviously this pays for itself. But I just I feel like most times Overwatch is a trap, and like you might as well just like wait to activate it later and shoot 2 times, right? That's kind of how I view it.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually have two thoughts coming off of that. I mean, the first is in terms of it being a positive tempo play.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting that it gets around. It doesn't get around these things, but it makes things like protection bubbles a little more rough. And yeah, if you're seeing my nails, everybody, it's because I have Adepticon is coming. I have primer all over my fingernails, white primer. Um, but either way, protection is limited by the number of times in which a unit can protect in a turn. The fact that this can kind of be it can kind of overwhelm protection units could be interesting. It is on your opponent's turn. It's likely that they're just going to have enough protection to deal with it. But, it's something to think about.
Yep.
The other thing that I actually was just thinking about as you were talking that is a bit of a negative on this is the where this is going to see, I think, its best play is in decks that are doing spell casting and spell damage type plays,
Yep.
and you're losing a channel. I mean, you're
Yeah.
losing an activation in which to play a channel by activating Overwatch, and that's actually pretty rough. If you have them in Polynor and you're trying to maximize how many discharges you're going to shoot off in a turn, so you blast the board apart, I mean, you just lose one.
Yeah.
Or, you lose, perhaps in Polynor, the ability to play one from the discard and draw a spell. I mean, that's rough.
Yeah.
So,
One last thought on this is like you're not denying an activation from them, right? Either because they are activating a model, getting the movement, and even if you kill them, they still got the value of the activation, which is kind of where like on paper this thing looks really good, but then like you start like playing with it, and you're like, oh, but they already did the thing that they got the value out of that unit, even if it was like just a move and died. They essentially casted a spell that said, "Hey, exhaust a basic unit, whatever that fallen one is," right? By
yeah.
sacrificing a unit. So like they did get value from it. So I don't know. It's a little weird. I know that there's some synergies with like the new guy, the new unique that we'll talk about here in a little bit, with like him being able to move it and stuff. I just, yeah, I think 3 would have been better, like on it. Yeah,
Yeah, I
but
think this is totally playable. I think it's going to see play. I think it's obviously we've talked about it for how many minutes. I think it's it's super
yeah,
interesting. I
hmm
like it. Um but it probably should have been 3.
yep,
I have it at a C plus. I think
yep,
it's super playable, but it is not super good.
yep. Same here. All right, next card. Oh, sorry. Okay, Mind Harvest. It is a 2-cost elite spell, channel speed. Look at the opponent's hand. You may choose a unit from their hand. If you do, your opponent must deploy it exhausted without spending Echo. Then you gain equal Echo equal to its cost. This is just can be just a 2-cost spell, or 1 if you're on the Shattered Halls terrain or whatever it is, and just look at their hand to gain information, which I think is great. Like this is the first of that, because the picking a unit is a may, right? So you don't have to actually deploy a unit. I just still don't think this is great enough value to warrant a spot in your deck. Um, yeah, I mean, I think that the ideal use case of this is you have everything engaged, and so you pick something, they deploy it, you get echo, and then you can do more things later in your turn with that echo, deploy more spit channels and whatnot, and they have to deploy their thing back in their deployment zone. That is like a turn or two away from doing anything impactful, right? That's the ideal use case, but I just think that it's not good enough, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, yeah, there are weird corner cases where this card is actually decent. And there are, of course, weird corner cases where it wins you the game, right? Because like it gives you a X amount of echo that allow you to get off the spell you weren't able to get off before. But even then, this is already a channel. Like at best, I mean, or I guess at best, yeah, you have some sort of like swift spell play. I don't know that that exists yet. We don't really have combo type builds in Malediction presently. And
Yeah.
even off that, right? It would have to be a swift speed combo. I mean, I at the moment, this card feels never worth it to me.
Yeah.
I have it at a D because I guess I could see corner cases where like it like is decent, but it probably should be less. At
Yeah.
this point in Malediction, this card is essentially unplayable.
Yep, I agree. I have it at D minus F. Maybe there's something in the future where like I don't know. There's like some really crazy combo with units, and but I don't. They're still playing the unit, so it doesn't like deny. You know what I mean? Like my problem
There
with
may
Malediction is like I feel like I'm at a point in the game where like the decks are open, right? Like in competitive play, you look at your opponent's deck, so you know everything that's going to be coming, and I'm familiar enough with the cards where like usually based on the game state, unless it's like first turn or two, like there's a bunch of cards in hand, bunch of echo sometimes open, you can get surprised. But like most of the time when the game's running down and it matters, I have a pretty good read on what they might have in their hand, and like you make plays based on all right if they like a lot of times you just make a play or a line based on like hey if they have this card I'm going to lose so I have to play this line to win the game and playing this just to confirm, yep, I'm screwed. They have it. Like, doesn't help, right? Like, I don't know. That's
Yeah.
kind of just how I
Yeah.
feel in the game right now. But you have anything else to say on it? I guess. But
I don't know. I think maybe it'll have some cool interactions in the future. I don't see them right now.
okay. All right, we have the new unique for Conclave, Nariev, Master of the Grotesque, 7 Echo. This is a first 7 Echo unique, which is interesting. I hope they start like, I want to see like 2 cost uniques, 3 cost uniques. I think uniques don't need to be just elite units, right? Like, we calling back to like Hearthstone and stuff like that, or like even Magic. There's legendary units and stuff like that that are low cost that are cool, right? I hope that they kind of break that what the design, what they have right now going. 3 attack, 3/2 damage, 10 range, 6 speed, 13 defense, 12 HP, call, spellbound. It's a 2 AP action. Search your deck for a spellbound unit. You may play it and deploy it within 6 inches. Otherwise, reveal it and add it to your hand. Shuffle your deck. This does provoke retaliation. And then also another unit, new ability, swap spellbound. Swap the position of this unit with a spellbound ally within 10 inches, ignoring obstacles. You want to go first?
Sure. I'm gonna open by just saying the flavor of this card, like the tribal flavoring, the art, everything about this card, love it. Top notch. Super cool card. All that said, this card is not competitively playable.
No.
It's just not. It costs way too much. It costs too much AP to do what you want to do with it. There were ways I think to tweak it to make it more competitive. Making the spellbound unit free that
Yeah.
you're spending 2 AP to get.
That's
You
what I
could
was gonna
limit
say.
it to like,
Get a basic one
yeah,
and play it for free.
right,
Yep.
exactly. Limit it to like basic or elite, something like that, and make it free for 2 AP. That would be sweet. It's kind of
Yep.
like a necromancy to an extent. That would be fine. Or even like leave it as is, but have swap spellbound be 0 AP. That could be super interesting and potentially competitively playable, where you're playing, Sentinels forward or something, or even a gargoyle, and they're grabbing, like a relic, and then you're swapping with them, or there's like there could be cool things with that. Having a cost in AP, just I don't know, doesn't feel strong enough. So I don't know that this card is competitively playable. I don't think it is. But in terms of like the flavor and the direction of like the tribal synergistic gameplay that we're heading towards with this card and this expansion, super on board with. I think that's super cool.
Yep.
But realistically, I had this at a C plus. Thinking about it, it's really like it's like a C minus in my book. And I am kind of giving it a bit of a bump for its like
Yeah.
cool flavor.
Yeah. This is your deadly bargain card apparently. Yeah, I agree. I mean, its stats are like it's statted like a 4 or a 5 cost unit, kind of like, without its abilities. So like you're paying, 3 to 4, or sorry, 2 to 3 extra echo just for its abilities, which aren't that amazing. Again, I think I don't know if they tried to start this at an 8 and then they talked themselves down to a 7, but it could have easily been like a 5, I think, or something like that, and maybe, like it's still
Yeah.
unique. It's a one of, so it's not going to break. Like you can't jam 3 of these things in your deck. Like let people put it in as a 5 drop and like let them have fun with it. I don't know. All right, but because of that, like it's just high cost. It's just I don't think it's playable. So it's a D plus right now. Maybe there's again combos, future, yada yada yada. That can really break this open. But right now, like there's just what are you getting out of this? Like you're gonna get your Devourer and spend 7 plus another 8. I don't know. It's too much. Too much echo. So we'll move on to the next one then. All right, Reckless Researcher, 6 cost elite unit. It is 3 attack, 3/2 damage, 4 range, 6 speed, 11 defense, 12 HP. Overwhelm 2, new ability. This unit performs a range attack if the defender is of this unit's rank or lower. Exhaust the defender. It's an abomination apparently, but I don't think there's anything that kind of goes
Not
with
yet.
that
Yeah.
tribe. Yeah, but I don't know. Cool ability. It's really expensive, and range 4 is just terrible. Are my notes like this is 3 inches
Yeah.
more than like melee. Like if you've ever played with the Devourer, that thing ain't hitting like with its range attack like almost ever. Like I don't know, and most times you're like I feel like I'd rather just walk up and get the +2 and like smack it. I guess like with melee to get the +2 damage on Devour, but like I don't know. This thing just range 4 is just so pitiful. I feel like it barely covers like a large base. I'm pretty sure like it's like 1 more inch past. So like you can't even have this thing in the back line shooting through like units or anything. It's just it's really rough. Um, yeah. What are your thoughts?
I completely agree. I think that this thing could have had range 10 and pinpoint
Or
and
8. I
been,
would be okay with 8. Like
yeah, sure, yeah, and just been like very cool. So
mhm,
I'll just open by saying I think overwhelm. It's a little. It's too good at 1 AP. It is,
mhm,
but at 2 AP, it seems a little rough because you can't move and shoot and do it. But yeah, it could be a little overpowered at 1 AP. That's fair.
mhm.
But it could have probably been 1 AP with 4 range here too. I don't know. I think Overwhelm is a super cool ability. It's really a solid board control thing that could have been really neat to play with. There's just too they almost overvalued it. It
Yeah.
is really good, but it didn't need to have this many like handicaps on it where it's a 6 cost elite with 4 range that is squishy. It's just like, oh god. Um so I don't know. Love the ability. Love that they threw it in the game. Hope that it can be used better in the future.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm at
And
like a C minus on it, and it's only because I really like the idea of the overwhelm ability.
yeah, and I did it for the end of the like podcast. I did want to like go off our thoughts, but like it seems like there's just so much. I don't know. Something's something's off. It feels like with like a lot of these cards and stuff like that. And like maybe this is just good, but like, do you feel like sometimes they are designing units with relics in mind, and they're like, oh, we have to tone down this unit because if it gets like Tempest Scepter or something like that, it's too do you think that's like part of their consideration? Because like I guess when I'm evaluating cards, I don't think at all about like potential relics that they can get. And when I play the game,
It
I'm
could
not really
be.
thinking about like, oh, I could like relics to me are like, hey, you get to have like that breaks the game and you can have fun with it, right? Like I'm never like looking at a unit and be like, I'm gonna play this unit because when I get this relic, man, is it gonna be amazing? Like it's like no,
Yeah, I you might be right. It's something, and I don't want to be, overly negative, but
yeah.
just to say, like, there's a lot of cards in this expansion that seem to have handicaps or, detrimental things put on them that they just didn't need. Like, it was okay to have an expansion come out and have a bunch of cards that are super good, super competitive, and change the meta. And unfortunately, I think a lot of them, yeah, there was something happened where they became worried about the power level of certain things,
Hmm.
and they got toned down in ways that effectively made them non-impactful for the competitive meta. And that's a problem in and of itself. You don't want to have an expansion that has a handful of really impactful cards. You want to have an expansion that shakes the meta,
Yeah.
particularly in a game where it's sort of released like a board game, right? Like the pace at which things are being released are very much a board game pace. Um, and yeah, unfortunately, I do feel like a lot of these units, maybe they were thinking of relics or things like that, but that I agree with you, shouldn't really be how we're balancing units on their face. And I am, yeah, a little concerned that a lot of the cards they're just like a step away from being relevant,
I
and at least
well,
in a competitive meta sense. And the
yeah.
fact that they're not is rough.
I don't. I think it's like two or three steps away to be honest with you because I think good
Well, sure,
design
and
intent
some,
is to hey this card is like push the card to where it like it's too good and then take one step back, right? And like I
yeah,
do feel like these like cards aren't even close to being too good, like like they're not even
yeah,
playable, you know what I mean? Some of them. So and that's kind of how I feel about this guy is like I don't know why I would take this guy over I don't know, Momentum Weaver or other things that we currently have.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, because again, they're competing with all the cards that you have access to, right? Like I don't know. Yeah,
100%.
well, I gave it a D. What did you give this grade?
I have it at a C minus, but it's probably better at a D. I'm gonna leave it at a C minus because I think Overwhelm's super cool. Um,
Yep,
but yeah, this could have been cranked harder and it wouldn't have been broken and it would have been playable and it would have been
yep.
neat and it would have been awesome to add into the game.
I just realized this unit performs a ranged attack, so you can't even do Overwhelm and melee without giving up a retaliation.
Yeah.
That's pretty bad. All right, moving on. A good card. Rippling Potential. 5 cost unique spell channel. Search your deck for up to 2 different basic or elite channels and reveal them. Add them to your hand. Shuffle your deck. Play one of the revealed spells without spending Echo. Um, yeah, you want to go first?
Yeah, I mean this card is insanely good. So we're coming off of, being a little down on maybe the expansion as a whole in the sense of there's, a handful of really playable cards and a lot that aren't. This one is one of the playable ones. This one is insanely good. I think it's a top tier card. It isn't for every deck.
No.
Um, but and you can go into that, but what it does is very, very, very good. It is a, yeah, multiple tutor. It
Yep.
is playing a free spell. It is thinning your deck. It is yeah, effective. I don't know, card draw. It's
Yep.
this card is great. I'm super high on it. Solid A for me.
Yeah. I mean, when we go and talk about like grading potentials and stuff, like A's that we reserved, right? They 2-for-1, and this card is a guarantee 2-for-1. Like you get 2 cards from the 1 card, and you immediately get to play one of them, which is crazy. So,
Mhm.
um, so yeah, what this card does is it draws you cards, which is obviously a premium in this game. Like there's very little card draw in here, and then two, it's a tutor, right? Which finds you the cards you need. So when you talked about that, it's not like an auto include. Uh, Londriel has a crap ton of card draw, and she doesn't have tutor, but she rips through her deck so quickly that it almost feels like she can just find whatever she needs. So funny enough, Londriel doesn't. I don't play this card in my Londriel because like I just
I'd
it doesn't.
consider
It's
it
too
though.
expensive. Yeah, but like the only thing you're finding are like telekinesises, and because it has to be channel speed, right? And she's like mainly
Oh
swift.
yeah, yeah, that's
So
fair.
yeah, so you're finding telekinesis and rewrite destinies pretty much, and for 5 Echo, it doesn't feel that worth it, to be honest with you. So yeah, it's an amazing card though. I put it in every single other deck outside of Londriel, and that's again because Londriel already has a ridiculous card
Yeah,
draw engine.
yeah, it's absolutely insane. In Polinor, it's absolutely nuts, and Morta. It's
Liena loves it. For
yeah,
Liena,
and
this is
yeah,
3 procs of her legacy, or 2 procs. Sorry, you get the one, and you play it for free, and then yeah, you another turn you get play your other channel. So it's amazing in Liena too. But yeah, all right, I give it an A-minus. I don't know why I give it. It's probably an A. I'm just gonna change it to an A right now.
yeah, it's a solid A.
Yeah.
You're right. It probably doesn't fit in Landro, but it's so freaking good in all the other Conclave Seekers.
Yep. All right, that's gonna wrap it up for Conclave, and now another really great card. Um, so this is a 5 cost basic unit, Brighthold Custodian, 2 attack, 4/2 damage, 6 movement, 11 defense, 10 HP. New ability, distract. Whenever a hit would be scored against this unit or a nearby ally, you may exhaust this unit. If you do, that hit becomes a critical graze instead. And then riposte, whenever a graze is scored against this unit, it may retaliate after the damage resolves. My notes are, oh, look, another defense ability. Oh, yep, it's busted for sure. Why don't you go ahead and talk more about this card?
Yeah, so Distract is amazing. It is just absolutely fantastic ability. Um, I think the only thing holding this card back from just being a solid A for me is its 5 cost, truthfully. I don't really care all that much about the stats. I mean, 4 damage on the top end is cool, but he does cost 5, and that's why that exists. Um, so I'm playing it for Distract. I don't care much about anything else. I honestly, if this card would have lost Riposte or would have taken a hit on its damage, been like a 3/2, or maybe both of those things, and been able to drop to like a 4 cost, I would have loved it. I would have loved it. But 5 is really expensive, and that makes it a little that knocks it down a bit for me.
Yeah.
That's not to say anything bad about Distract.
I,
That ability is so good.
no. Yeah, this is a good example of they designed a card, they pushed it to its limits, and then they took it one step back, right? I think if this
Yeah,
card came out with 12 HP, it would have been busted, even at 5 cost. Like 12 HP, I'm learning 12 HP is a very big premium because against most like basics and stuff like that, most majority of units, that's like 3 hits or 4 hits rather, which is a lot. Even against Seekers, you can't double tap it that do like outside of like Londrel, Vorndell, or not, sorry, Vorndell, Thundersteps, and the 6 hitter ones. But like most other Seekers hit at 5. So like if you hit 12, a Seeker can't double tap you, right? Which is a big break point. I'm learning throughout the game. So this thing being at 10, I think is right where it needs to be. If it was at 12, it'd just be busted. I feel like, but Distract is such a crazy ability in games. At least how I play games, and I think a lot of competitive people will agree with this, is you're trying to remove the variance out of games as much as possible, and Distract is the ability that immediately does that, right? You get a crit on you, great, I can deal with it, right? And you critting me is not going to throw me off my game plan. It's not going to lose me the game, or something other crazy, unexpected happening. Like Distract is your blanket. I think this card is just is going to be nuts. It it does push the problem forward, like I mentioned, of just stacking defensive abilities and sticking on board, which, to be honest with you, I was kind of hoping they would put answers into the meta to kind of deal with the stacking of protection and resistance, and now this and prevention spells, and it seems like we just get another tool in the arsenal for Landrill and Sigrith, which are, spoilers, they're going to be the best out there right now. Yeah, I don't know. I think that this is great. I think this is a great card. I just wish there was other ways to counter it. But do you have anything else, kind of?
No, I have it at a B plus, and I think it's a B plus / A minus.
Yep.
I have it at a B plus because it costs 5.
Yep.
But it's, don't let that dissuade you. This card is awesome.
Yep. Funny enough, I think we continue the trend. I'm just scrolling up right now. Yeah. Order of the Shattered Throne continues to be the only faction with 5-cost units, which is interesting to me.
That is interesting.
Yeah, because all the other 5 costs are also in order, and even Landrill's, like Spell Warden, is 5. But yeah, everything else is Order of the Shattered Throne. So, okay, next card. Man, Order of the Shattered Throne just got so good in this expansion. Echo of Sarstan,
They already were.
3-cost. Unique spell, Swift Speed. If an ally would suffer damage from an attack, search your deck for a basic or elite spell and reveal it. Add it to your hand, shuffle your deck, play the revealed spell without spending Echo. Tell us why this is the best card in the set, Zach.
Yeah, it just is. This card is so unbelievably good. The ability to, okay, so first off, this is a tutor, right? This is already has all of the benefits that we previously described in what's it? Rippling potential.
Yeah. Yep.
Meaning it's searching out a card. Now, granted, it isn't 2 cards, but it is searching out any card that you want, and it is playing it for 0 echo, which is so good. This one isn't limited by channels. 1. This one isn't even a channel. 2. I mean, it couldn't be, obviously, because you're playing it, on your opponent's turn. But my point stands in the sense that it is doing all of this stuff at swift speed. It's so good. It's getting you your Resonant Guard. It is getting you your wards. It is doing all sorts of crazy stuff in the 2 decks that really, really want it, Landrill and Sigrith. It combos off their legacies. I mean, it combos off Landrill's legacy in the sense that it can get you a card that triggers her legacy and play it for free. With Sigrith, it can prevent damage. Get a card that prevents damage triggering her legacy. This card is bonkers good. It is the best card in the set, and it is, perhaps unfortunately for the meta, just further making the white or white-blue defensive builds all the more stronger. And I think that they are already completely and utterly dominant in 1v1 Malediction.
Yep. This card, Custodial, and there's another card even coming up that's really good that I think Sigrith might be better than Landrill, to be honest with you. Like, I don't know. It's crazy. I think that the thing about this card is I'm curious if this comes back to haunt the design team, because they've opened Pandora's box of playing channels at swift speed. There's already a combo out there that I don't know. I haven't played it yet, but like on paper, I think it just wins you the game. And I'm not going to say it because I don't want to play it at Adepticon. I'll see if anyone wants to figure it out. If you figure it out, you can leave it in the comments below. Maybe I'll give you like a little heart if you do that. But yeah, there's a channel you can grab with this and then do a crazy combo that I think will just like shut out any game. And I'll share it after Adepticon. But yeah, I think that now any channel that you open up with not only yellow or order, any dual faction seeker, you have to be careful of like, what is this going to do if they play it at swift speed on an attack, which could be crazy. So yeah, we'll see. Thankfully, they limited it to basic or elite, so you can't like swift speed to manifest and like just pop the guy off the board or something. But yeah,
That would be so awesome.
yeah, especially with playing for free. But yeah, yeah, I don't know, especially because like yeah, gosh, I think all basic and elite channels they kind of cap out. I want to say at 3. Maybe there's some 4 cost channels. But like this kind of like puts it like they have to pause if they want to put out a 6 cost channel or 7 cost basic or elite channel, and it's like, well, that's a lot of free echo that they're just getting all of a sudden. So yeah, we'll see. But it's definitely an A+ for every reason we went into. It's just I don't know, it's
Yeah.
crazy good. I mean, a 3rd copy of Resonant Guard in Landrill is like makes you shudder because
Hmm.
once that card comes down and they are able to get like 7, 8, 9 echo off of it, and now this is just another copy to do it. It usually just seals the game for Landrill. So, all right, next card, Epher, the Setting Sun, unique 8 cost unit. It is 3 attack, 5/3 damage, 0 range, 4 speed, 13 defense, 16 HP. It is a spirit, which is relevant for Grizza. 1 AP sweep. This unit performs 2 separate melee attacks. -2 attack against -2 to your attack stat against 2 different enemies. Reach 3. This unit's melee attacks can target enemies within 3 inches. 4 speed really sucks. Like really sucks, especially on a medium base. So I think that like if you're playing this guy, he almost has to be played with pathways. Um, Obviously, there's like deployment shenanigans and stuff like that, but I do think it is a major drawback for something you want to invest 8 points in. Like, your stitch courses are cost 2 points. So if they fucking aren't getting, value every turn, like, okay, whatever, there's still an activation that you're eating. But like at 8, you kind of need your units that you're putting 8 into to do significant things every single turn. And with 4 speed, that can definitely, your opponent can be cagey and deny pretty much you getting value out of him. Yeah, I don't know. I think he's okay. I think he'll be all right. Kind of just middle-ish on him. But what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's fun. 8's just too expensive. He doesn't have any like crazy wow factor for me. He's not like I'm not looking at Rogarth and being like, oh well, he could just eat the whole board potentially.
Yeah,
Things like that. It's he's not doing enough for 8 cost in my opinion. Um, his speed is a huge detriment. I think sweep is potentially really good, but going down to 1 attack on your sweep attacks is rough. Um, yeah, I mean, maybe he like double
it's still
sweeps.
guaranteed 6 damage, right? Which is better than
Yeah,
5.
and maybe he
So
double sweeps and like, he hits 1 and misses 3 or something and you throw out like 14 damage in a turn. And that's cool. It's just
what
like,
opponent's going to give you that though? With 4 speed, like
yeah.
you gotta. I don't know. Yeah. The other thing I'm reading my notes here, is that I think it is a requirement for me that for 7+ cost units, they need some kind of defensive tech, and this guy has none. So it feels very vulnerable. Like he needs to
He's
have
he's got
resistance or
pretty good
spell immune
stats. I
or
mean, 13, 16 is pretty decent stats, but
yeah.
regardless, 8 points is almost the cost of a seeker. I mean, losing 8 mastery is just brutal.
Yep. I did give him a B-. I don't know. I think he'll get played. I don't have him in my Grizza deck currently, but maybe that's a mistake. I don't know. I value activations too much more, and if you're investing 8 into something, like it better. And like I mentioned, if I'm playing Grizza, Grizza's hitting the board. So how do you play this and Grizza? And like I still play Thrice because Thrice is just incredible with his defensive tech with like energy drain and phase. Like those are the abilities, right? Like give him some way to regen or like do like he needs something to keep him going, because he needs to just be in the middle fighting a bunch of stuff at once. And I feel like he's just going to get whittled down or dealt with in some other way. So I gave him a B-.
Yeah, I gave him a C+. I mean, I don't know. I guess he can get deadly bargained out, right? I mean,
No, you can't. Oh, out
oh,
of the
really?
graveyard. Yeah. So that
Out
was the
of the
other thing
graveyard.
is deadly bargain. You can't sacrifice like it has to be a basic or elite. It go back to it. So I thought like
No, I mean to basically
you
res him out of the
you can put them.
graveyard.
Yeah, you can fetch them out of your discard. True. but that means he has to get in his discard. So you already lost him once this game. Um, so I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the problem with Deadly Bargain is like I feel like now it's only an Ingor spell because that has ways to get units into your discard. But because like to play this with Deadly Bargain, you have to play him once, so that's -8 echo, and then you have to play him again. That's another minus what 10 echo now. It's just a
Yeah.
lot of echo to have up
Deadly Bargain
essentially.
isn't a free play, right? You got to
No,
pay.
you got to pay. Yeah. So
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm at a C plus, and that's probably where he belongs.
C plus for Epher. Yep, I'm at B minus. That's fine. All right. The actual worst card in the set for sure. 5 cost Revalis Penitent. No attack, no damage, no range, 4 speed, 10 defense, 9 HP. He has a couple new abilities. Decaying 2. When you activate this unit, deal 2 damage to it. Bestow Regeneration 2. Other allies within 6 inches gain Regeneration 2. Noxious Fumes 2. Whenever an enemy within 6 inches activates, deal 2 damage to it. So this is the card that I thought like maybe you could give some tech with like unit, like if for every unit within 6 inches of it, the player gets -1 echo at the start of next turn or whatever, right? Like that would make sense and like be pretty strong, I feel like. But like Decaying 2 on this with 9 HP, so even if your opponent doesn't target this at all, which I don't know why they wouldn't, like it's just free mastery. This card reads to me pretty much like they lose a card and you gain free mastery, right? Like I don't think all the abilities on it are gonna do enough, but it dies by itself because of Decaying 2 dealing 2 damage to it over the course of 5 turns, which is a lot. I get it, but like you just sink like an attack or 2 into this thing and it's just off the board and it's just so much resources lost. I feel like the regeneration, the noxious fumes, like it just doesn't matter. I feel like those are my thoughts. What are you thinking?
Nah, I agree. I mean, there are like situations where having like a bubble of regen too is pretty cool.
Yeah,
You know, but I don't think Noxious Fumes is gonna be doing much. I mean, once in a blue moon, it'll be the tipping point to take, something out or to control certain patterns of play from your opponent because they can't afford to lose something. But you're right. You're basically giving up 5 mastery for this thing. It's got 4 speed, so you got to be putting it where you want it to begin with. It's like this thing in your opening hand
yeah.
just feels god awful.
That's exactly what I was gonna comment. Is like people look at the like cards and they're like, oh, in this situation it's good, and it's like that's not the way you build a strong deck. You have to put cards in your deck that are just always good, not like oh, if I set up this fortress and get this guy here, and then I can have my priest heal him too, so he just never dies from decay. And it's like that's never gonna happen, man. I'm sorry. And like the way the
Yeah.
malediction it goes is like you're looking for like to grab like extra husk and then kill like a couple of things, and this thing is just like a giant target of like, hey, here's 5 free mastery, you can take whenever you want, essentially. So that's just the way I
Yeah.
view it.
I'm not into it. I have it at an F. It maybe
Yep.
isn't an F. I maybe it was a little harsh on it,
No, it's an
but
F.
it doesn't feel
This thing wouldn't
like
even
it.
be playable at 4. Like it'd
Yeah, it
still
just
be an
feels
F
like
at
it's
4.
never seeing play.
Like this could maybe have been a 2 and maybe be playable. I feel like maybe a 2 or a 3. Like I don't know what they were thinking at 5, to be honest with you. Yeah, it's just I wouldn't play it at 4 even. Okay, moving on. One more good one though to save order if it need to be saved at all. 3 cost elite spell, Rush of Salvation, Swift Speed, and as an opponent declares an attack, so this is before the attack roll, against an ally, another ally may perform a move with twice its movement as long as it finishes that action nearby the defender. If it does, it absorbs the damage that would be dealt to the defender. Holy moly. Yeah, you can go first.
It's super good. I mean, it has multiple modes of why it's good. Um, I didn't realize this actually until you told me recently, but it absorbs all the damage.
Yeah.
It does not spill over additional or damage over its health, the
Yep.
moving target's health, back to the intended target. It just takes all of it regardless.
Yep. Can I expand on that
Which
for a
is
second? Just
Yeah, yeah.
so every other protection ability in the game, right, on your knights or exemplars or angel or guardian, shield mage, whatever, behemogen, they say absorb up to the damage of this health, and anything that kills it, then it spills back over to the original target, right? This thing doesn't say that. So if you have something at 1 HP, maybe it's already activated, whatever, it just does the double move and eats the whole attack, and that's like, against Thundersteps, right? Ideal case, 9 damage from a charge, has 1 HP, great. 8 damage just goes into the ether and is gone. It's crazy. Yeah, sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to make sure people
No,
were
no,
on the
you're
same
good.
page.
It's positioning benefits from allowing a double speed move out of activation can be incredibly powerful. It can set up where your unit absorbs this attack and then is literally in place to further protect, for the next
Yeah.
attack of that activation. I mean, it just does so many things. It obviously can be tutored up with the card that we, reviewed earlier.
No, I
It's
don't think it can be that one. If an ally would suffer damage, because it's after the attack. So this is
oh,
before the
fair enough.
flare. So yeah, you can't use that one,
Interesting
unfortunately.
time. Okay, well, fair enough.
Yeah.
Um, Either way, this card is really powerful. It continues yeah, I mean, it continues the trend. I am feeling, and if people from Loot or whoever are watching, like, you guys have to find a way to balance out the defensive abilities in this game. You have to.
Yeah.
Like, it's just becoming overwhelming that, like, how do you deal with all of the defensive tech in this game?
Yeah. This gives a non-protection unit the ability to protect, and like splitting damage, removing focus firing is just killing aggressive decks pretty much. Like Thundersteps hates all these defense. Like Thundersteps just got smacked this suspension. Rush of Salvation, the Brighthold Custodians. He's just not having a good time. If you're a Thundersteps player. And yeah, just giving another action, another possibility. I mean, your priest could walk up and take a hit now. That's like one of the biggest, like, priest is so good, and whenever you can start using your priest health pool to like split damage and stuff like that, it's even more bonkers. This can get up your field custodial guardian, and then you hit, all right, turn it, exhaust him, graze it. It's just crazy. I think the other thing that has always held Sigurth back, one is her lack of card draw. That's still a problem, thankfully, for now. But two is her speed. She's just pretty slow, and this just kind of breaks that wide open. Where like now, like something can zoom off and be aggressive turn one, and then the rest of your stuff can catch up to it, right, and stuff. So I think it really accelerates how aggressive she wants to be, which is definitely a problem. So this card is a B plus. Honestly, it might be better than a B plus, but I have it at a B plus
Yeah,
right now.
I think I'm at about that as well. I think it's a B
Okay.
plus.
All right. Sorry, my keyboard is over here today because I didn't switch it. So, where's the plus sign? Okay. Cool. Sorry about that. All right, next card. We're out of order. So we've done all the basic factions. Now the new cards for Liena and Grizza. And I skipped one, right? Okay. Arcane Mirroring. We're going to go this way. So 3 cost, elite spell, Swift Speed. After an enemy resolves an action or ability by spending 1 AP, an ally performs that same action or ability. Um, I thought this card was going to be really, really strong, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, out of activation on your opponent's turns to be able to do stuff, especially with Liena and the reverberation. You play it on her when she's exhausted. 2 things get a move or 2 things get an attack. Oh my god, it's crazy. It's like blah, blah, blah. The way I've been playing Liena now is she just runs a bunch of small units and hits up with Spell Strike, and using a card to play a spell to activate Spell Strike on your opponent's turn I found has never been worth it. So I've just been putting in a bunch of channels. I think that the start card is still playable if you're like running on a more elite build, especially with like Liena herself or Karamemak rather, the Seeker. But I've definitely come way down on this card than I originally was. Um, yeah, what are your thoughts on it, I guess?
No, I kind of agree. And you have more experience with it than I do too on the table. I mean, this is one that I haven't spent essentially any time with, truthfully. But it's interesting that it's sort of an out of activation, swift speed response to something. It could potentially cut off your opponent's second AP of that particular turn, or, screw up their plans in certain ways. But yeah, really kind of just does what it says on the tin. I mean, there's a few maybe interesting scenarios of what else it can do, but I don't know that it's not bad, it's not great. It just,
Yeah.
yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I will say that in my current Liena deck, I've I've removed it out now, and it's because it often felt just dead in hand, where I couldn't spend the echo to do it, rather than another channel on my turn to give the artillerist or something else spell strike for two attack. You know what I mean?
That's
Like it
that's
that
the
that's
issue
my
with it, I
biggest
think,
problem.
is that it has some really weird, like, unique niche things I can think about doing with it. Like, your opponent moves and you're like, oh, I will move up to contest this relic that you
Yeah.
were not expecting. Like, it has some really neat little interesting things it can do, but it's
Oops. Sorry.
so situational. I don't know. The cool stuff it does is situational. And in Malediction, it's difficult to
Yeah.
play cards that you essentially are holding in hand for niche situations.
Yeah, I did get a really my like one of my first games ever with Liena. It did actually come in clutch. He moved up a crossbowman. I arcane mirroring to move a Terrag Beast, engage the crossbowman, shutting off the range attack, and then the Terrag Beast immediately went and trampled through. And I also lined it up to do a trample through on like 4 units. It was like bonkers good, but like I understand, I identified this is not that's not going to happen every game. That was like a once in 100 games moment right there. So yeah, I
Yeah.
gave it a B minus. What are you at?
I think I'm a B minus as well. And I'm at a B minus. I think it's a B card, but it being limited to one seeker
Hmm.
brings it down as well.
Yep. And one type of playstyle in that secret too, I think is a good
Right,
thing.
right.
Yep.
Which may
Okay.
not even be sort of the style that ends up being
Competitive.
best.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Another spell for her. Trample through is a 3-cost elite spell channel. As an ally performs a shift that can pass over and trace line of sight through any unit. Deal 3 damage to each unit it passes over. More movement shenanigans and extra damage that trigger spell strike, legacy, blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff. This is everything what Liena wants. The 3 cost is actually pretty steep though. I've realized. I again 20 echo, not a lot of ways to generate echo in Liena. And like her legacy kind of is like she has the kill a card, play a channel for -2 echo, and usually I found that's just a trap where like you can't afford to play that card because you need it for later activations to trigger like spell strike on something else. Also, like you kind of want spell strike activated and to play a spell before you kill something because you probably need that extra damage to kill something. So yeah, it's just a little awkward. I think I still like this card, but I don't know. I think again it might be more for that Liena or Karmamak elite style build where it gets like a little bit more value.
Yeah. Again, you have more experience. I have not played Liena yet, but on its face, in a vacuum, I look at this card and I think movement shenanigans, like a free, let alone a free shift,
Yeah,
is
through units.
really,
Yeah.
really right. Is really, really good. Um, I could see, as you described, there being some friction, I guess, in having this be in Liena and sort of always the correct play for 3 echo. That could be a little rough on its cost. I like it. I think it's good. But it is not, for example, I look at like Morida, and you're looking at like green blue, and like what makes Morida like super cool is like her exclusive spirit, the 3 cost guy is amazing. Like, the card is freaking awesome,
Hmm.
and is trample through limited to a single seeker in that same ballpark? No. And
Yeah.
so it's good, but
Yeah. Thundersteps would have
yeah,
liked to see this
I
card,
see your
right?
notes, on our
Yeah.
sheet, and I agree. I think B is correct. It's good, but it is not like you're not looking at it like this is why I'm playing Liena.
Yeah.
And
All
you
the
kind of do want something like that.
I could see all these coming down too, just because I feel like they all look good on paper, but the way that I'm currently playing Liena doesn't. I think I cut Trample through this as well, or maybe I have like one copy of it. And maybe something comes along where like Karma Muck with Reverberation, but I'm kind of like not sure what to do just because I was so surprised at how bad Karma Muck feels playing her. And I know that the community has felt similar where everyone's like, yeah, she just dies when you play her. Like the shielded 2 doesn't work. You can't exhaust her and fire off it just like the community is definitely feeling a struggle on like how to get her to work as well, which is a bit disappointing. But maybe more cards will come along. Maybe someone will figure out a deck that makes it work. That's the hope, and that's why I think I'm kind of like all these cards. I'm like middle-ish, like B kind of feeling on it. So,
Yeah.
all right. Last one for her is Uncaged Experiment. 3 cost basic unit, 2 attack, 3/1 damage. 5 speed, 11 defense, 8. Oh, 5 speed. Oh, that's not great. 11 defense, 8 HP. It is a spellbound unit, single minded. During this unit's activation, it can only perform either move or attack actions. It may perform a free action of that kind. And then nimble, this unit can move without provoking retaliation. So this unit needs to start in order to triple attack. It can't benefit from like Liastrum Stride or Trample Through because it can only do that stuff during its action. You can play those spells not on its activation to get it to move and do like things like that. But I think that I don't know. The best use case of this card is I do feel like Liena is very strong. That and I think it will happen not like all the time, but it's gonna like it's not gonna be unheard of to win by getting all 4 husks turn 1. This unit definitely, if that's your primary way of winning, and you really want to just play that way, being able to triple move with this thing for a 3 cost unit is pretty good to just go grab a husk. So I don't know, maybe, but I feel like 8 HP, not great. Single minded, it's going to be a detriment more often than it's not. Like, I think single minded is worse than the Gorehorn's frenzy ability that makes it activate first. Like, it's a bigger drawback, in my opinion. But that's, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Yeah, thoughts on this card?
I think I agree. It's really tough, actually. This is a tough one to evaluate, and I want to get it on the table and try it out. Like I want to try, and I know you have, and hasn't felt
No,
super great, but
I haven't played this card at all, so I don't know anything about it really. But
I want to try like a super speedy strategy with Liana, where you have gargoyles, you have shamans, or
yep,
the free move,
yep,
and you have uncaged experiments and Liastrum strides and all kinds of just a ton trample throughs, just a ton of movement shenanigans, and
yep,
see how that can play it out. But this is a tough one to evaluate. I agree, single minded is, I think, a bigger detriment than frenzied. I think when it's good, it's super good. And those times are less frequent than the times it will be bad.
yeah,
I think limiting you to a single action type will more often or not feel restricting than the free extra action of that type will feel good, if that
yeah,
makes sense. I don't think it outweighs the detriment. And so I don't think that this card is super great, but it's interesting. I do want to try it. I do want to play it more where you're doing triple moves and, unique movement shenanigan plays.
hmm
Um,
the
and
the
you're
the
right. I
downside
mean,
to me to this is like in the deck that I currently play, which I think is like I'm really honing in on it. It's super glass cannon, but it wins really fast. It is fun to play. I don't know how competitive it will be, but the gargoyle shaman, cabra mauler, artillerist are staples. Like you have to put those in your deck, I think. And the cabra mauler is sneakily good because you can do like Trial of Stone or like things that give them attack that do a knockback, and you can push someone away from a husk and just grab it like first turn. Like it's really good. TK, whatever. This thing would take the spot of either Tarek Beast, I feel like, or the Gorehorn, and like I don't know. To me, this is not on the same level as either of those two cards. They would take Taric Beast only because it can pick up a relic, and like again, sometimes you want more units that can just first turn grab up all the relics because they're so incredibly fast in that list. But Taric Beasts are, I mean, they're hitting at 5/3 for a 2-cost unit. I don't know if you can take them out with Spell
Yeah,
Strike,
yeah,
so Spell Strike and Swarm. So yeah,
yeah.
I have it at a C right now.
I think that's probably right.
All right. Okay, we're moving on to Grizza's cards now. Sorry. Dilemma of Fate, 3-cost elite channel spell. An opponent chooses an effect for you to resolve. Choose an ally, recovers 8 health, choose up to 2 enemies, deal 4 damage to each of them. For this card, I don't know. Like, it just seems like so hard to get off, especially now that I am willing to admit that Grizza is not a frontline seeker. Like, I thought 16 defense, oh, amazing. He's going to be glanced all day. Dice still happen. He gets a hit. If he takes one hit from something like hard, he's down to 9 HP because he only has 14 HP. And then like you're really questioning whether you can start playing channels like on the front line, right, and stuff.
Right.
Um, so like he's in the back and you want to get used to the channels, and this is one that he definitely wants to activate. But I feel like it just, I don't know. It's so hard to get both of them. Like, get value out of it. Like, right, because your opponent's always going to pick the one that is less impactful.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel like you have to play it because there's not a lot of channels that he wants to play in his deck, to be honest with you. And this is one that he can start cheating Echo, which I'm pretty sure is like his whole shtick is the get Echo free spells as well as utilize his stats on other spirits, right? Which is the other problem is like there's only like 7 spirits you really want to play in Grizza, I feel like. Um, so I don't know. I guess you're playing it. I'm not super high on this card, but yeah.
I'm pretty low on it, generally speaking. I know a combo is off his legacy, and that's fine. But a few things, as we said a million times on this channel, healing is worse than prevention to
Yep.
begin with. I don't like that your opponent can choose the outcome here. And of course, the response is, well, generally they're going to want to just let you deal damage to 2 things because, and then you are above curve on the damage that it deals, because obviously his legacy will allow you to deal damage anyway as well as heal. But like that's kind of the problem with the card in general is if I'm playing this and I want to heal, it's because I need to heal the thing. And so
Yep.
of course my opponent's going to be like, oh, I guess I'll just eat 8 damage,
Yep.
fine, across 2 units because I don't want you to heal.
Yep.
And if I'm playing it and my opponent doesn't want me to deal the 4 damage to 2 units, it's because I don't really have anything that's worth healing.
Yeah.
So then the opponent's going to be like, okay, why don't you just heal because it doesn't matter.
Yep.
And like
Yeah.
that's the problem with this card is it's never like doing what you like good enough things that you want to do. Your opponent has too much say in it, and the legacy for Grizza doesn't do enough to make it like awesome.
Yeah. Whenever I go first on a card, I never read my notes and just kind of go from the gut. And after reading the card, like my notes back, my thoughts were this card is often just going to heal for 4 to 5 HP if you're like lucky. And most times it will be dead in hand because of that situation, right? Like the fact that you think you're ever going to get 8 HP recovered and your opponent's going to give that to you is just like slim to none, I feel like.
Yep,
So
100%.
most of the time it's a 3-cost heal 4 to 5 damage and probably proc your legacy for 3 damage, right? Which
And
kind of doesn't feel
interestingly,
good.
this is continuing a trend actually that we have brought up like a number of times in this particular podcast, and that is this card, like so many others in this expansion, bonkers good in like very niche, unlikely scenarios. And like, yes, if you can come up with the niche scenario where it's bananas, it's bananas. But
Hmm.
outside of that, it's like, eh.
Yeah, Echo of Sarstan can fetch it, so it's like unexpected, and you can play it at swift speed. That's probably the best use case for it, actually. But
Fair enough.
when
Fair
they're
enough.
not
Yeah.
expecting a heal coming in at swift speed, yeah, I'm at C plus for it. Just because
I'm
I
at
think
C plus too.
I think you have to play it in Grizza, just because otherwise, what are you doing
It's
with them?
above Yeah, like it's above rate on its like healing or damage for
Yeah,
cost. And it's even further above rate when you include his legacy. But like the fact that it is either or, your opponent gets to make the decision and it's always going to be just the worst for you is keeping it in like, yeah, C
yeah.
territory.
All right, next one is Somber Surrender, 3 cost, elite spell, swift speed. Deal any amount of damage to an ally you own up to its health. Another ally recovers health equal to the damage suffered this way. I try to game this card and figure out like unique interactions to like cheat more. Like, oh, could you play it on a spell immune unit? And then haha, I deal 8 damage to my Sestinar and I heal, and he takes none of it. But no, the wording in the card is it only recovers health equal to the damage suffered, so that doesn't get around it. Resistance doesn't even get around it for like a bonus +1 where you can be like, haha, I deal 8 damage to my Stitch Corpse, and he only takes 7, but yeah, you only heal 7 because that's how much damage they suffered.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit like I always like when there's like you can be like a little cheeky and be like, I'm smart, I figured out the way to stretch this like a teeny bit more. Nope, not the case in this. I think it's okay. Like it's pretty good. I think you need to run it because it's essentially a, a swift speed protection that triggers your legacy that we've talked about is just kind of like you're not like, well, okay, great, you get 3 damage maybe, um, but yeah, it's just spreading damage, which is good, but it coming out of 3 costs is a lot. Like I don't know. That's kind of how I view it. Is 3 cost is a lot to spread damage for protection essentially.
Yeah. Well, and it's worse than protection in the sense that like you're healing prior to
Oh
I mean, I
yeah,
get
true. Because you have to wait, deal any damage up to it. Yeah, so
so
like if you
you're either healing in
mm,
response to an attack, which means you should have already taken damage that you can actually heal for it to be like pseudo protection, or you have to hope that their attacks or that attack that you kind of are like playing in between
yeah.
doesn't kill you. Um,
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Because like if you're at 8 or you have max HP of 8, you are at let's say 5, and they hit
mhm.
you for 7. Like that just sucks. Like yeah,
You still go, yeah, you can heal up to the 8, but or
yeah, and then you
whatever,
go
but
down to
you go
1.
down to
Yeah,
1.
yeah,
Yeah.
that does yeah. Ouch. Okay.
So
Um,
it's just another instance of, prevention is just better than healing. I agree with you though, like it's not terrible in Grizza, and you probably play it because it does enough things. I mean, the extra 3 damage with the legacy is something. And like you kind of with and I haven't played Grizza yet, so caveat here, but it his style seems to be kind of getting a ton of extra little pingy value out of your spells and hoping to
yeah,
sort of overwhelm in the sense that, which is kind of my problem with Grizza as an aside. I just think he doesn't play into the mechanics of Malediction super well. Like weird little like pingy damage and healing all over the place to slowly grind out your opponent ends up not actually working that well in Malediction, where like prevention's better than healing and focus
yeah,
firing is usually your best option. But this card does what Grizza wants to do, and so you play it and it's okay.
yeah.
It's a B minus or a B maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna interrupt you and be like, wait a second, but that's Londrill's plan. But and I think that's the thing is like I saw Grease and I was like, oh, he can kind of play like a different game than Londrill, but like kind of maybe that same thing. He can't. He just and like he's not bricking up like that's what I thought is like Grease is like kind of like Londrill, where you can spread damage, keep your stuff alive, but you're able to like you don't have to castle, right? Because like you don't need the protection. He has all these spells that can like kind of just like shield or like prevention spells that's on top of it, right? But he can like kind of price of devotion, somber surrender, kind of like do all these different things, keep your guys healed, keep going. It doesn't work. I don't know. It just I haven't figured it out. I haven't played again. I haven't played many games with them either, but
I'd
I
like to
just
play, yeah, I'd like to play more with him for sure and like actually figure it out a bit. But my gut going into it is, yeah, it's sort of, it's Dollar Tree Laundry.
yeah, and the biggest thing is like a lot of his spells are swift, and his echo generation isn't nearly as good as Londrill's or his card draw, right? Like, and I think that's the problem is like Like you look at him and he has a crazy echo generation ability, but it's only on channels. And like we already talked about the and beat the dead horse on healing spells and stuff like that. But like it's not as good as prevention. So I think that's the problem. Yeah. Well, what did I give this? I gave this a B. I think again you have to play it. It might be a B minus, but I'm at a B right now for it.
Yeah,
Actually, I think you talked me down
I
to a
think
B minus when you talked about like
I
the
that's what I was
the.
just gonna say. Is I'm at a B minus.
Okay. All right. Last card for Grizza is his unit, Tragedy of Greed, 3 cost, basic unit, 2 attack, 4/2 damage. Okay, 6 speed, 11 defense, 8 HP. Jinx, when this unit is defeated, each opponent discards a card. You can go first. Yeah.
It's a good card. I mean, I kind of wish it had a little more health, or just, it feels like it needs something. But Jinx is super good. 4 damage at the top end is super good for a 3 cost unit. I don't know. I feel like it needs something more to be an A range unit for me, but that's not to say it isn't good. It's very good.
Yeah.
It's essentially, it's a 2 for 1ing your opponent, more or less.
Yeah. Almost guaranteed 2 for 1, unless you're playing
Yeah.
it like late and like they don't have any cards in hand. But
So it's good. It's super playable. It isn't on the level where I'm like, this is why I'm playing Grizza, but
oh,
like you are
it's a spirit.
100% playing. Yeah, that's
I
fair too.
forgot to mention that. Yeah.
So yeah, so it does. Yeah, I mean, you're playing 3 of it in Grizza every time, obviously,
Yeah.
but it isn't. I don't know if it's good enough that it is like driving me to want to put Grizza on the table, but I think it's great, and you play 3 of it, and it's good.
I mean, you talked about the Umberland Shade with Morta. This is like I feel like on par with the Umberland Shade for Grizza. 4/2 on a 3. I think this has got to be the first. I mean, other things can hit up to 4/2 with Swarm or the Skeleton Archer or other thing, but I think this is the first 4. Oh, and then the Gorehorn obviously as well. But like this doesn't have any drawbacks other than 8 HP. It wants to die for Grizza's.
Yeah,
It
it
doesn't
wants to
want
get its
nothing wants
yeah,
to
get its
die, but like
free
when
2
it
AP
dies,
and
you're getting the free action from Grizza's Legacy. You're getting the discard. It can hit at 5/3 if it's within 6 of Grizza, which Grizza's ability to do the attack is actually really strong because like if you think about the real estate of like things engaged, right? Like this thing goes first. It attacks 4/2, 4/2, and then Grizza can go and attack through it for 5/3, 5/3, right? Like that's a lot of like when we talk about like focus firing and stuff, like that is really strong, right? To be able to like double activate back to back. Hopefully this thing sticks around and you can do 4 attacks through it, right? Um, you know, it's just he's kind of like it is pretty much like Battle Cry and Shaman, and we all know why like Battle Cry is so strong.
yeah.
I love this. I think this is one of the reasons why you play Grizza. Like I think it is a very very strong card. I do think it's A minus. Like I don't know. I can't imagine any cards coming more out that you don't auto include in a Grizza deck. Um, I mean I think you would play this in even if it was accessible in other seekers. To be honest with you, other like Conclave or Fallen seekers. So yeah, I think it's strong.
Fair
What
enough.
it
I
what do
don't
you?
know about that. I have it. My thoughts on it were a B plus. Maybe it's higher, but I think I'm good there.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, and now we get to the as much as we love Malediction, right? And like I think it's a good point to remind people that Zach and I we love this game and like our criticism of it and like when we say like oh what were they thinking blah 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 is like we want this game to succeed and get better, right? Like we love the competitive aspects for it. We can definitely see it being competitive. I mean, we're going to Adepticon, we're playing in the events, right? And so we just want the what's best for the game. And I think criticizing it, is healthy for the game so that it can evolve and be the best version of itself. That being said, as we come up to attachments, attachments are in a very very bad spot. I'll just kind of open the floor with a couple of problems. One is like the most valuable resource in Malediction is just the cards in hand, right? And any attachment is a cost of a card to make another card very, very slightly better. There's only like 3 attachments maybe like 2 attachments in the whole game that I really ever consider that are worth it. And just because they unlock, like they're almost on like relic, like Scout's Boots, I feel like is almost on relic level. like it could be considered a crappy relic. And that's the other problem, is that all attachments have a very low ceiling because they can't be better than relics, right? In terms of the fluff and the lore and the everything like conceptually about the game. So I don't know. I think that the design team needs to drastically rethink what is going on. I think like a no-brainer is really just to consider attachments not giving mastery. Like I don't understand why attachments give mastery. Like it's already punishing enough from the resource mechanic of the cards and stuff to also give up mastery on top of them when they're defeated or they're broken or whatever. Or, like it just doesn't make sense to me. So that's just kind of do you have anything you want to say generally before we go into these? Because I think
No, actually,
all of them
really
are like
good.
we're very, very critical on, right? Like they're just
yeah. I didn't even review them. I didn't even grade them. Truthfully, but I like the idea. I want to play out some games where items don't give mastery and see if that's sort of enough of a reason to try them out. And so I don't even know. I don't even know what to do with them. Truthfully, I have to think on it more.
A lot of people bring up like Auric, like, oh, if you don't give up mastery, Auric's still not broken. You want to, like, you're not going to be jamming 6, 7, 8 attachments in an Auric deck. Because you know what happens is you get your opening hand and you look at 5 attachments in your hand and you go, damn, why are all these in my freaking deck right now? Like, I don't need all these, right? Like, yes, it can cycle through, you can cycle through, right? And it's great for that. But like if you overload your deck with too many attachments, you're not drawing units, you're not playing on board, and you're just going to lose the game, right? Like, attachments are just in a bad design space in terms of like how they actually impact the game. They're a gamble on a long-term investment that you'll get more value out of them as the game goes on, which means that attachments will only ever be good as the first turn or two of the first round or two, right? After that, there's you can't play an attachment on an engaged unit. So later rounds, you draw an attachment. It's the worst feeling in the world because you might not even be able to play it. Not to mention the game is coming to an end. So like, let's take like what people consider a good attachment, Horned Helm, +1 damage and knockback. I draw this thing for round 4 or 5. Maybe I have to play it on something that's not engaged. Yeah, it works on range attacks, whatever. But if the game ends that round, I got +2 bonus damage off of it. Twin Flames is a 2-cost card that does 4 damage immediately to 2 different units, right? Like that's my big problem. Or it's a gamble because you put it on a unit and they can immediately kill it, unmake, demanifest. You know what I mean? Just like all this different stuff, and like you didn't get any value out of it, right? That's my biggest problems with attachments. I don't even know if they're hamstrung by relics, and that means they cannot be that good. And I don't know if they're ever worth a card, right? If you can't make them that good. So I don't know. I think that making them not worth mastery is just a no-brainer, but I don't know what else. I still don't think that makes them good enough. Anyways, end rant. We'll go through these really, don't expect anything special from these. You can probably skip to the end of the video if you're actually caring about competitive, just because none of these are worth it. So we'll go through them. 1 cost basic attachment. It's Goredrinker Axe. This unit gains recoil 1 whenever this unit attacks. Resolves an attack. Deal 1 damage to it. Berserker 2, when this unit's health is lower than or equal to half its health, it gains +2 damage. I don't know. Dealing damage to yourself for like Berserker, which is, God, I hate Berserk so much too. I take it back. I think this card's worse than the unit that it costs 5 and doesn't do anything. Like, this card's just awful, I feel.
It's got cool art. Cool flavor.
Yeah, I love the thorns like in his. Yeah, it is cool art for sure. You know what? It might be better than the unit. You talked me up.
Yeah, it's possible that well, I haven't looked honestly at the sculpts of the new unit, which might be freaking awesome. But despite it not being really playable. But here, I don't know. I mean, maybe you can just play it down on someone that's, low on health and it immediately does berserking, but
Berserking is
you're
just
never playing
such a nothing ability. It is. Oh God, I hate it so much.
you're
Anyways,
never playing this card.
yeah. Okay, F. I think you're right. Are
Yeah,
you
F.
great? All right. 2-cost elite channel or no 2-cost elite attachment. This unit gains spell focus 1. It's a 1 AP action. The next spell you play this activation costs 1 fewer echo. Empower spell 1 during this unit's activation. Whenever a unit spell suffers damage from a spell, you play it. It suffers 1 extra damage. This is not an F, I think, but like, why does it? Why do? Oh, and I just clicked. Sorry. Why are you making me spend 1 echo when I've already invested so much into this card? Just give me the 1 fewer echo for free, please. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't. Oh, I
Yeah.
don't know. What are you putting this on? Like, like again, it's giving up 2
You're putting it
mastery.
on like a scholar
Yeah.
or
So you want to
something,
make your
and
4-cost scholar cost 6? That's I don't know. It just that's standing in back and yeah, getting like it's Empower 1. You don't want to put it on your scholar. It doesn't stack. So I don't know.
yeah, okay. Yeah, I
I
don't know. I don't
I
know.
I D minus for this one for me. Like maybe like
Yeah, I
you
think
can
that's
play it and
fine.
have
I just
fun
don't
with it,
know.
but it's not competitive. Like again, we're
I
as
don't,
Zach stated in the beginning, we're competitive. We only look at cards from a competitive. Could this be really fun and like ooh, like fluffy? Like look at I'm doing the thing. Like yeah, you can definitely have fun with it and stuff. But from a competitive standpoint, I don't think it's good.
yeah. Yeah, it just doesn't. It's not going to have a slot in the deck.
Yeah.
You can't fit it in the 30.
Yep. Tier of Gold, 1 cost, basic attachment. This unit gains Empower Healing 1. During this unit's activation, whenever an ally recovers health, it recovers 1 extra health. Poggers. I don't know. Yeah. So you
This
put
is
this on a
worse than the other ones.
Oh
Even I
yeah,
mean,
for
it's
sure.
just not,
You put this on your priest and it can heal 3 a turn. I don't know. It again, it's not worth the cardboard that it's printed on in a deck. Like it's just not. Even in like it's another one. This one might see. I don't even think you want it in. What are the other 1 cost shields, which is a 5% chance to graze and
mm,
+3 health on Amulet of Vigor. I don't think you put this in the Auric if you want to like a cheap 1 cost cycle of cards, right? Like I think
no, because
the other ones are
you're already
better.
going to have you're already going to have boots no matter what.
Well,
So
I mean, not if you. I'm talking about the shield, the Great Shield, and the Amulet. If you just want
I
cheap
know you're
ones to
comparing one
cycle card,
cost to one cost,
yeah,
but
yep,
I'm just thinking of the amount of attachments you even want in Auric, who already wants more attachments than anyone else, and this is never getting a slot, regardless of its comparison to one cost.
yep.
Other cards, yeah, I mean, it's worse than the Goredrinking Axe, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, well that one was 1 too. I didn't. Yeah, probably. I don't know. Maybe. Okay. Last one, controversial one probably. It is Elite Attachment, 3-cost Umberland Lantern. This unit becomes a spirit. If this unit's rank is Elite or lower, it gains Flying, which allows it to move over other units and pass over obstacles. If this unit's rank is Basic, it also gains Phasing. And when a graze is scored against this unit, it prevents the damage. Everyone tells you to jam this thing into Sigrith because her legacy procs off of prevention. So if you put this on I don't know. Everyone wants to throw it on the Revenant because it has counterattack. So if you hit it, it counterattacks you. If you graze it, it takes no damage and it prevents the damage. So then Sigrith's attack, thing activates and you get a free attack on a 4/2. So you made your 5-cost unit actually cost 8. Um, yeah, I just don't play. I don't know. Again, it's not worth the card. It's not worth the
It
echo.
costs, yeah, it costs too much. I think also the rank restrictions are unnecessary. Um, who cares? Give for 3 cost, give whatever phasing. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just overcosted. It didn't need the rank restrictions in my opinion.
I do think this is on the power level you want attachments to be, but they should probably again not cost mastery, and this thing should probably cost 1 or 2. Like I I don't know. That's kind of how I feel on it. Is like this card
Sure. I
is
mean, you could
has
leave the
good
rank restrictions
abilities.
and lower its cost. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. That like this is like to me this is not better than Scout's Boots. I don't know.
No.
Like Scout's Boots gives +2 and dash when you defeat something, really strong. Like more action economy. Like yeah, this thing's not better than that. So I don't know why it costs 3. I guess because it makes it a spirit as well, which means it benefits from Grizza's legacy. Like the one thing, it's like okay, let Grizza be a little bit more powerful with this thing. I don't know. I
It either costs too much or it needs a rework on its restrictions that are already
yep,
in the text.
yep.
I don't think it's an F. I think it's probably like a D plus. It has situations.
I'll still give it enough. I'm never gonna play it. I can't. What are you cutting for it? Like especially in Sigareth when we just talked about all the crazy good things she just got, and now you want to make room for
That's
this thing?
yeah. I mean, that's the problem with all attachments in general. But like, it can make some pretty annoying units in Sigrith. But you're right. I mean, again, I don't know that any items have room in anyone's 30 at a competitive level right now.
Other than Scout's Boots and Thundersteps, because that's just a broken combo.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that's literally it.
You wanna get
and
the crazy cleave turn for sure.
yeah,
But
and maybe ambushing Cloak on Vorendell, but that speaks more to the problems that Vorendell is in, where you kind of need that strategy to win. It feels like sometimes.
yeah, I
Then
think that's I'm still not into that play, but whatever. I mean I've had it done against me pretty effectively.
yeah, it
Um
works.
but but yeah. Boots
Yep,
and Thundersteps and then Auric has to play some.
yep,
He's not playing this.
yep.
So yeah.
Well, that's gonna do it. I guess final thoughts. We kind of peppered them in there. I'm sorry we didn't save them all for the end. Out of this was pretty much a single faction box in terms of the number of cards. I think it's 34 cards, including the Seekers and Legacy, like new cards. Let's see here. 34 new cards, including the 4, which are the 2 new Seekers and Legacies. So really, what is that? 30 cards. I just don't. I think there's some really strong hitters in there, but a lot of duds, and it probably doesn't change up the meta that much. But we'll see pretty shortly here in the next 2 weeks at Adepticon what's happening. I'll tell you that the online tournaments that we've been doing, they have not. The one right now, Sigareth is running rampant. I do think that if you're playing Sigareth, you're in a very good position. I'm pretty sure Metachu is running Sigareth, and he won the event. I'm pretty sure nobody can displace him, and anyone that ran Sigareth is doing very well. So, yeah, we'll see if that trend continues in the coming Adepticon in the coming weeks. Otherwise,
Yeah.
do you have any other final kind of closing thoughts?
I guess I would say super excited that we have new releases in Malediction. It has been a long time. It has been a long wait. Very excited to see them in people's hands and to see new cards, new ideas, new things coming out. Awesome. I think there needs to be some thoughts as we, as Malediction goes forward in terms of how can we truly shake up the meta? How can we make cards that are not just good in niche scenarios, but good all around and super solid enough to shift the meta? I think the meta is really, really stuck in defensive, aggro control type things with Sigrith or just, hard control with Landriel. And it's really hard to break out of that meta. And there needs to be some thought put into that going
Mm-hmm.
forward with future releases. But that's not to say that I'm not super happy to see that Malediction got an expansion,
Yep.
that it is in people's hands, and that we have new cards, new releases, new things to talk about and discuss. I would encourage Loot, if they were listening, to think about how to shake up the meta, think about how to break up those things that are problematic at a competitive level. And also, I love that they are exploring keywords and tribal synergies and I think that should continue forward because it is awesome. I love playing tribal decks, but you have to make them good. You have to make
Yep.
them playable. And there are ways to do that, and I am excited to see that is becoming a thing.
Yep. I will add, so yeah, well said. I want to leave on a high note too. In terms of like a first expansion for Malediction, I think this was an absolute success. Like I'm very happy with it, right? And I think that a lot of our criticism, even that like people are gonna watch this and be like, man, you guys were so negative on the cards and stuff like that. And it's like, well, like we want to show that there's room for growth, right? Like you guys are on a good track, but like, hey, like here's our feedback on how to make this even better, right? Like I kind of got shocking, like right, like even towards like November, December, we were starting to see the spoilers, but I was just kind of like not totally into it, Malediction at the end of last year, and once the spoilers came out, and once we finally got to start like playing with it, I was pulled right back in. I've been grinding games. I mean, it's super successful on the Malediction Discord. You're seeing games firing off every single day on TTS. Last weekend, I think I saw 3 games going simultaneously with people in the channel playing. So like, it's brought in a bunch of new people. There's new cards, new seekers to try out, new things to test. It is absolutely a success. I think that the people at Loot and Malediction, the Malediction team, should definitely pat themselves on the back for like a successful release. But yeah, I think that definitely celebrate this. But I think you know, in order for this game to stay fresh and relevant, I think we should already be thinking about and looking at the next expansion, and hopefully it comes still this year, right? Like I definitely think that this game would benefit a
Yeah,
lot from seeing 2 to 3 releases like this every single year, and maybe taking into consideration some of the things that we talked about, right? And kind of addressing the meta with like the protection builds, mixing things up, not being you have more experience with this more recently with Lorcana. You were telling me that the game really suffered because they were very conservative in their release, and like every new expansion there was like a handful of impactful cards, and it just kind of killed the hype for the game, right? So based on your experience there, you would encourage like, hey, just be bold and do stuff, and really capture your
yeah,
base, and then you can
and
always
and
try to correct for it going forward, right? Or I don't
100%.
know.
100%. And even building off of that too, with that sort of example from Lorcana, I mean, those cards that were coming out were meta defining cards. I mean, they were changing and warping the meta with each release, but it was still problematic in that there was only, a handful of incredibly impactful cards per set. And here, obviously, the sets or the release waves are going to be much smaller than like a TCG release, sure. But we definitely want to see a host of impactful cards, and I think, again, let's change up this meta. Let's find ways to shake it up. It's cool to have really really powerful cards that create new archetypes that push new decks to the forefront. That's okay. It's
Yep.
fine. Release some broken stuff.
Yep.
Let's see Thundersteps smash the meta for
Yep.
4 months or something. It's fine.
And the last thing I want to say is like you brought this up too, is that you know back in the old days, the developers were very social, or would post a lot on the Discord, right? And then the game launched, and they I think they wanted to focus on upcoming content, right? So they said like, hey, you know what, we're gonna let Jason deal with that, you guys. And I feel like because of that, they kind of killed all communication. I would love to see just more communication from the design team, and do like, it doesn't even need to be on the Discord, but just even like posts and like game thoughts, and like state of the game kind of like things like. And I know they've done like 1 or 2 of these in the past through their newsletters, which I don't even think are happening anymore, to be honest with you. But like Nikki would write up like a whole 1 to 2 page thing about like game design or something, or Dan has done one in the past, and just like kind of giving like, or acknowledging like, hey, we're seeing these trends in the game, this is what we're trying to do, like just like give us like a little lens to make us feel cozy and like
Yeah.
warm and fuzzy, that like, hey, we hear you guys, we see this as a problem, or this is what we're thinking about, like like, or this is where we want to take, like just kind of teasing, talking about the healthiness of the game, and just kind of interacting more with the community outside of like official channels of like from the marketing team of like news and stuff like that. Can like just more, I don't know, blogs or posts, or kind of things like that can kind of connect with the community more, I think would be really beneficial. And you see this all the time with Magic, right? Like even before they make a change that alters stuff, what was the deck that they kind of like came out and like they're just really on top of like when they released content, they're very communicative and be like, hey, we see that what is it, whatever steel or not, what was the red aggro deck that they like massively like probably
Oh,
6 months
it was
ago.
the Corey Cutter or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know,
The
I
spawning
thought that.
monks and stuff.
Yep, and I thought that their communication with that, like, and just in terms of like, hey, we're looking into it, just like they didn't even do anything yet. Just that they talked about like this is on our radar, we're aware of this, we're trying to fix it, right? That kind of communication goes a long way, I think. So, all right, well, I think that's gonna do it for this episode. Yeah. Otherwise, any final thoughts, Zach? Hey.
Nope.
All right.
Excited to play at Adepticon. Excited to grab this expansion.
Yeah. See you guys all there, and until next time, thank you.